When my father came back from the war after killing Rommel, the government gave him a medal and a block of land as a reward in the suburb of Marston. It was real good. It was covered in tall grass, and the first night he went out and he stole an army tent from the army stores, and he put it up on the block of land, and we got 3 camp beds for me and for him and for Mum, and we put it in the tent, and he went out the backyard and built a big dunny, a pit dunny, and he put him and Uncle Humphrey bought a telephone box from outside the Lockley's post office, one of those red ones with glass panels in the wall, and he plonked that over the hole and put a plank with a round hole in it, and that was our dunny. And whenever we went to the dunny, the neighbours would look out over the fence at us, and I said, "Hey, they're all looking at us, Dad," and Dad said, "The buggers are jealous. They got those bloody shithouse dunnies, the ones that flush, and we didn't have to flush ours. It just went straight down into the pit. We were living like lords." And for me 4th birthday, me dad went out down to the he worked near J.W. Hardy's factory, and he bought me a beautiful bag of asbestos dust in a sugar bag that he stole, and he was so proud. And on Christmas morning, or was it me birthday? I think it was Christmas morning. Yeah, Christmas, because I'd been up all night. Me mum had left a bottle of beer out for Father Christmas, and I tried to wait up and catch a look at him, but I went to sleep, and when I woke up, me dad was there. He said, look what Santa's bought you." But I knew he'd got it, because he still had some of the asbestos on his on his suit. Me mum for Christmas had given me half an almond shell, and she wrapped it in newspaper. Dad said, "Don't throw that newspaper away, because we never got the newspaper. We couldn't afford nothing like that." So he said, straighten it out, and he straightened it out, and he folded it up, and he put it away in a drawer. He said, "We can use that when we get birthday presents and Christmas wrapping. We won't need to get any wrapping from the shop." And no kids would play with me, because I was a shy kid. And once a kid had come to play with me, and he'd fallen into our dunny, and he'd suffocated, and all the coppers came, and all the police and the fire brigades had to dig him out, and they got him out, and the poor little bugger was dead. And the policeman talked to my dad, and Dad said, "Well, the silly little bugger, he brought it on himself. He should have tied the elastic rope around his waist like our kid has to do, because I never fell in. I was like a safety harness. And if you fell in, you'd bounce straight back up. Halfway down, it was just enough rope. My dad had worked it out." And then he went to work at Woomera Rocket Range, because that was another part of the reward that the government had given him for what he'd done in the war. He went to work at Woomera Rocket Range on some secret job where he used to go into this big room with an X-ray uranium, and they didn't have protective clothing back there. And when he come home, 4 years later, he come home, and his eyes had gone a different colour, and He used to, and his arm was a funny shape. He said, well, I'd ask him about it. What happened, Dad? And he said, there's a lot of funny stuff going on up there at Woomera. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I'll tell you when you're grown up. But he was dead by the time I grew up. And he used to take us out picking mushrooms every morning, and he'd get the ordinary ones, and he'd get these gold top ones, and he'd get these ones with beautiful colours on them, because there were boxthorn bushes all around our suburb. It was famous for its boxthorn. The Carter family down the road lived on boxthorn. They'd stew it and roast it, and they thought they were real posh because they had bloody stuff to eat all the time. But we lived pretty good too. We thought we were pretty well off. We had, for tea some nights, we'd have about 3 peas and about 4 beans and about a Brussels sprout. And the lady next door used to cut off the fat from her chops because she was rich. She had all sorts of good stuff, and she'd cut us off the fat, some of the fat from her chops, not all of it, but just enough so we'd get that much each, and we were living like bloody lords. And Peter Fitzgerald and me, we thought he went and got a job as a newspaper boy, and I'd go through all the garbage outside the back of the all the shops and go through the garbage, and I'd get Wrigley's chewing gum wrappers and all the empty wrappers, and I'd wipe the slime and the gunk and the stuff off them, and I'd buy 4 pellets of chewing gum, a real cheap brand they made. It was made in China or Japan or somewhere. I don't know. Back then, stuff from Japan wasn't good like it is now. And you get 4 pellets for a penny and a half. And I'd throw the wrapper away and get the 4 pellets and wrap it up in the Wrigley's wrapper. And I'd sell that 4 pellets of chewing gum in a Wrigley's wrapper for 2 pennies. So I was making a profit at 25%, which is pretty good for a kid. And my mother, and what was I talking about? Yeah, me mother. Yeah, she gave me a half an almond shell for Christmas, and oh fuck, I thought I was the luckiest kid in the world because I stuck me little finger in that almond shell, and I went down to the sand pit. Me dad had dug me a sand pit. It was real good. He'd got the sand from a building site, and I stuck that little finger in the almond shell, and I pretended the little finger was me, and that almond shell was a boat, and I sailed that boat to Timbuktu and or some other country, whatever there is, Madagascar and Nebuchadnezzar, Cairo and China, whatever other countries there are.